This video is for Algebra 1, the notes for measuring up day 2. Just a reminder, you learned in junior high that parallel lines never touch. Well, we also learned in high school in Algebra 1 what makes them not touch. And what makes them never touch is that they have the same slope. Okay? Remember, when you have y by itself, slope is a number in front of x. We also learned in junior high that perpendicular lines cross and form a 90-degree angle. We learned in Algebra 1 the reason this happens is that their slope is the negative reciprocal, which means that you change the sign and flip the fraction. Okay? All other lines, they just have what we call a different slope. Okay? The slope just doesn't have anything in common. Okay? So parallel lines, you would have like a slope of 2/3 and 2/3. Perpendicular lines, you would have a slope of 2/3 and negative 3/2. We've changed the sign and we flipped it. Other lines, well, you might have a slope of 2/3 and just 2. Okay? So if you have two equations and they want to know whether they are parallel, perpendicular, or something different, you got to start by getting y by itself. So right here you would move your 2x and you would have 3y is equal to 12 minus 2x. Everything would get divided by 3, and so y would be equal to 4 minus 2/3 x. Then you would take the other equation and do the same thing. We're going to move the 6x, so 2y is equal to 8 minus 6x. Everything gets divided by 2, so y is equal to 4 minus 3x. The key here is that your slope is the number in front of x. So we have a negative 2/3 and a negative 3. Did they change the sign? No. So that right there tells you that they're not perpendicular. Are they the same? No. So they're not parallel. So they're neither. Okay? All right, if they give you an equation and they tell you f of x is equal to x to the third minus 4, and they want you to find f of negative 2. They want you to put negative 2 in for x. My suggestion is to put all of this at y1 and go to your table and find where x is negative 2. Okay, so pull up your table, go to y equal, clear everything out. We're going to have x to the third minus 4. Go to your table. We are looking for f of negative 2, negative 12 is your answer. That's all you have to do. Okay, which graph opens up? If you remember the rules, wonderful, use them. If you don't, put them in y equal, look at your graph and see what happens. So we have negative 2 x squared plus 1. And just look at your graph. And does it open up or does it open down? The open end is right here and it's at the bottom. So we would say that this opens down. So then we go back to y1, we clear it out, and we put in x squared plus 3. And we look at our graph. And your open part is up here at the top, so it opens up. So this is your answer. The way you can tell by just looking at the equation is a negative is going to open down and a positive is going to open up at the beginning. But just put it in y equal, look at your graph if you're not sure. How does y equal x squared plus 3 differ from y equal x squared plus 5? Once again, we learned the rules. We should know why or how they're different. But if you're not sure, go to y equal and put them in and look at the graph. X squared plus 3. I'm going to come down here and go to the left and press enter so that my second graph is darker, a thicker line. And I'm going to put x squared plus 5. So then look at your graph. Here's your first one. Here's your second one. What happened to it? Actually, I think I typed it wrong. That should say plus 5. All right, so let's do this again. Here's your first one. Here's your second one. What happened? It moved up. And if you remember from the rules we learned, it's because of this number at the end. And 3 went up to 5, so it actually moved up 2. solve x plus 2 times x minus 5 equals 0, I would put this in at y equal. So you're going to start off with x plus 2, close, open, x minus 5, close, enter. And the next one is going to be 0 because that's what was on the other side. You can look at your table or your graph. It really doesn't matter. Second calc, 5. Let it draw. Enter, enter, enter. And 0. Right here is one of my solutions. So x equal, down here, x equals 0. And just quadratic, there are two solutions. We're looking for where it crosses that. So we're going to do second calc 5 again. But we're going to go to the left and get over to this other spot where they cross. Enter, enter, enter. And we have -2. So x equal -2 is the other solution. You could also look at your table, okay, and find the spot where both of them, see how at -2 they're both 0? That's the solution. At 0, they're both 0. That's the solution. Either way works. Okay, if they give you a graph and they want you to find the equation, you're going to go find 2 points on the graph. I was nice and gave you 2 points here. When you have 2 points, you go to stat. Equations go to y equal, points go to stat. So my x values are going to be -2 and 0. My y values are going to be 0 and -2. Make sure you line your points up that -2, 0, -2, 0. You got to get them in at the right spot. Stat calc 4 because it's a line. Enter. And all you need is the a and b. Ignore the r squared and the r. Remember, just like it shows you up here, a goes in front of x, b goes at the end. So -1x squared minus 2. So y is equal to -x squared minus 2. I believe that is all for the notes. You are ready to start on your assignment.